Fire, 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 fire. I demanded a divorce out of the blue, but 5 years later, I'm still in love with my husband. Huh? And I wish we could get back together. Not for the first time. As I drive home that evening, I end up pulling over and bursting into tears as I chastise myself over and over for ending my marriage 5 years ago when I was 44. Holy crap, you're 49 and you're still thinking about it? That's crazy work. Another article written by a retarded woman in her 40s, chat. At this point, it's gotta be like real because nobody can just keep coming up with these article titles. Hold on, let me look it up. This looks like Daily Mail if I had to guess. Oh, Daily Mail, I fucking knew it. I could just tell. Okay, let me read this. Walking into the living room, cake blazing, my daughters and I burst into a chorus of happy birthday while I carefully tiptoe towards the delighted birthday boy in question. It's definitely written by a girl. My girls, aged 14 and 12 and 10, rush to their dad, enveloping him in a group hug. I catch his smile and we smile at his eye and we smile at one another as he leans forward and blows out the number 50 at the candle. Blows out the number 50 candle. An hour later, after presents have been opened, I take my leave. No one notices me go, or even barely acknowledges my feeble goodbye. You see, this isn't my home. The girls are staying with their father this evening to continue the celebrations. It's his house, not mine. Wait, she got invited to the birthday party? Not for the first time as I drive home. Okay, we read this part. I bitterly regret acting in such haste, not just because I now see that it was a stupid, impulsive thing to do, but because I still love my ex-husband. Getting divorced at age 44 with kids. You can't just keep it together until they're like 18 or something. Look, if you want to get a divorce that bad, at least wait until your kids are out of the house, man. I don't know. Have some decency. Surely it can't be that bad, especially because you regret it. My impetus for pressing the self-destruct button on my 15-year marriage was a lot more mundane than that. I was dissatisfied, insecure, and worn down by what I perceived as the drudge of my life, and I lost my temper with him once too often. So, instead of going to a therapist... Hold up. Instead of going to the therapist, you blew up on him and lost your temper. And you didn't go to a psychologist or psychiatrist to get some help for your anger management issues. That's interesting. Truthfully, it's not that I haven't built a life for myself since our split. I've been seeing my partner, Tom, for 2 years. He idolizes me, yet while I do love him, whenever I find myself comparing the two of them, I'm afraid Tom fails at the comparison with my ex. If Lawrence asked me to try again, I dump Tom without a backwards glance. Imagine being Tom reading this. Dude, that is so heartless. You don't even love the guy that you're just with now after the divorce. Again, she didn't dump him, or she didn't divorce the original husband for Tom. Tom's been with her for 2 years. But 5 years ago, with 3 daughters under 10 and chronically ill parents, life was unrelenting. Okay, and so does everyone else. Some people's parents, like, pass away and they don't file for divorce. There were times in my early 40s when I was wondered what on earth I had done to deserve such a life. You have 3 kids and a husband that cares about you. Okay. As a stay-at-home mom, my life ran on a constant loop of school run, chores, seeing my parents, school run, clubs, cook, bath, and bed, and repeat. Occasionally go to gym, and even more rarely to have coffee with my girlfriends. Oh, you want it to be a free spirit, but you have 3 kids to take care of. Look, I understand having a lot of kids is a lot of work. Like, I get it. I understand. Like, jokingly, this is kind of related, but I was walking my dog right before stream, that's why I was a little bit late. And the dad came out, the neighbor, and they live like across the street, but they know me, and they were like talking about how they didn't get any time to themselves because like there's always a kid pestering them on Christmas. They were like, yeah, I sat down, I couldn't watch the baseball, I was pausing constantly because it's like, Dad, can you help with this? Dad, can you help with that? And they have 4 kids. They're really nice, but like, it's just kind of how it is. Like, I'm sorry, you're allowed to complain, but like, it's just, you did it to yourself. If you have kids and you don't get a personal life, yes, that's unfortunately how it is, and some people choose not to have kids because of that. They want personal time to themselves. Like, it's whatever, it's your prerogative. Again, I can't relate, but at the same time, I've heard from people that have either a handful of kids or a lot of kids, and they always say, I don't have time for myself. Anyway. Meanwhile, Lawrence went to work and saw his friends afterwards if it suited him, only helping out with chores and playdates at the weekends. And the one thing I really took umbrage with, had created a man cave at home just for him. This has gotta be trolling. Just make yourself a woman cave then. What's the problem? I don't get it. No. We're gonna take a step back. If you want to have a man cave, you are allowed to have a woman cave. Make your personal little area. It's not that deep. When the whole house is your sanctuary, I think it's more so that there has to be a space or like a room just for yourself where the kids can leave you alone for like a little bit. I get what you're trying to say. It's like, oh, well, the whole house is, but you can't get away from children in that case. Isn't a woman cave just a laundry room? No, that's the kitchen. The 10-foot by 13-foot space filled with his books, computer games, and boys' toys. Came to represent everything I resented about the unfairness in our relationship. Why did he get to have a sanctuary away from responsibilities of parenthood and running our home when I was the one shouldering the vast majority of the burden? Talk about it then, bitch. If you want a woman cave, just talk about it. Over the years, what began as an in-joke between my girlfriends built into a constant simmering resentment, further fueled by their own stories of husbands not doing their fair share. Yet I never addressed it with him. There it is. I didn't even read this part up here. I was reading this whole part. Yep, there it is. I never talked about having a woman cave for myself. Now I'm gonna blame him. Something I now bitterly regret at age 49. Should I have also sought professional psychological support through this tough period? Yes, but I didn't because I'm a woman. You have to tell him what's wrong. You can't do this thing where you go behind his back and bitch to your girlfriends, man. It's all about communication. You can't just leave out the part and then just divorce him right off the rip. All I remember is feeling constantly tired, stressed, guilty, and resentful. I was short with the girls and even shorter with Lawrence. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, cheese and crackers, man. One cold Sunday morning in January, when he'd left his mug near the dishwasher, instead of putting it inside the machine, I let it rip. It all came out. What a selfish father he was, spending hours in his man cave, that he never lifted a finger in the kitchen. How underwhelming he was in bed. Jesus. Whoa. Okay, I was not expecting that. Holy. Oh my God. Actually, he wasn't. If anything, I was the underperformer, constantly finding excuses not to get intimate. Oh my God, and then we just flip it back and it's my fault. Oh my gosh, lady. And when we did it, actually willing it to be over so that I could get some sleep. I saw him wince, yet seeing red, I carried on, shouting that we weren't even husband and wife, we were just partners bringing up our children. I then uttered the words, I really wish I hadn't. We should call it quits. I want someone better than you. Oh my gosh, man. This is just sad to read. And again, chat, we can cope and say it's fake, but this happens literally daily all over the world in every culture. That's so sad, man. And imagine what she's not bringing up outside of this. What if he's the one, like, doing, like, the hard labor and, like, I don't know, plowing the driveway or something? You know, plowing the snow on the driveway, or, like, I don't know, building stuff, milking the cows, that's right. I know, it should be divided equally. That's another thing. That's another thing. From what I understand from my parents, they always told me, like, if you have a bad relationship before you have kids, the kids aren't going to fix the problem. You're just going to make it worse, if anything. Yeah, kids are gonna make it worse. It's not like it's gonna bring you together. It's either gonna stay the same or it's gonna make it worse. That's what my parents always told me. It's like, you having kids, if you ever, like, find someone and you want to fucking have kids, don't ever say, oh, well, if you have children, it's gonna fix everything. No, it's not. It's gonna make it worse. Accurate, ask me how I know. I don't need to. I understand. I hear from friends, too, that end up saying, well, not friends, but like acquaintances, I guess I should say, or like co-workers are like, I'm so unhappy. My husband doesn't do anything and he gets to sit at home and play video games after he comes home. Ah! You're just like, ugh, okay. Even for my own mother, for example, like, she's a bit of a hard ass, I'll admit it, but at least she came around when my dad and her had, like, you know, a talk about how he likes to play video games on Saturdays. He loves to sit down and play Age of Empires for like 2 to 3 hours every Saturday. And she used to get kind of annoyed, not like full blown like this bitch. But she would get annoyed and be like, oh, you're doing nothing. And then she kind of, like, I remember one day she just said, like, you know, your dad works really hard. I enjoy that he enjoys his games for a few hours, because if she needs urgent help, he will drop everything. He'll, like, put the game on pause and just drop it and go help her if she needs, like, urgent help. If not, she just leaves him alone. She talked about there was communication. Exactly. And that's why I think it sucks, like, when you don't have even half decent parents, because, like, I know a lot of people go through, oh, my family's fucking horrible, blah 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 blah. Even imperfect parents, if they show, like, a modicum of, like, understanding, it helps set, like, a really good example for kids. They remember that kind of thing. Yeah, being understanding goes a long way. Babe, I know you're bleeding out, but this is a multiplayer. I can't pause it. I don't think that'll happen, but anyway. By the time I had finished spewing out my awful tirade, I crumpled to the floor, where I promptly burst into tears. I assume just like the other occasions when I'd had a monumental meltdown. Oh, this happened more than once. Lawrence would kneel down and give me a soothing hug. Not this time, though. He walked out of the room. Yeah, because you kind of said this at the end, okay? That's why. That night, he went to stay at his mom's house. Ooh. After calling him throughout the night with no reply, the following day an email arrived telling me that I was right. We should call it quits. Apparently life was too short to walk on eggshells around me. You could never predict when I would erupt, scorching everything around me, then expecting it to all be forgiven in a heartbeat. Yo! She needs to take some anger management classes, dude. This could ultimately be fixed with, like, psychiatry or meds. Shika. Hold on, do I have any? No, I don't have any meds. That's crazy. That almost sounds like BPD, but that's whatever. Although Lawrence considered me a great mother, his rating of me as a wife was pretty poor, and he'd had enough now. That was a low blow. The world stopped turning. I couldn't believe things had got to this point. When I said those awful words in the heat of the moment, I never meant that we should actually split up. Okay, so why did you just not say it? Oh my god. Chat! I don't want to be with you anymore! Oh, but I actually don't mean it. Sorry, I didn't actually mean it when I said that 2 seconds ago. Okay, bye-bye! I can't imagine being this dense. We'd started out with such high hopes. Lawrence and I got together when we both worked at the same bank and were joined at the hip from the start. After dating for a year, I felt pregnant and he proposed. When our first daughter arrived, I took extended maternity leave and never went back. I adore being a mother and have always operated from the position that mama knows best. And I became a bit of a perfectionist and a tyrant. That's what she admits. Lawrence tried to help, but if things weren't done my way, then it was the wrong way. Today, I recognize that I sound like an utter harridan. I don't know what that word means. But when you're sleep deprived, forever catching up on chores, I just didn't have the time or patience to see it. I didn't appreciate what we had. Lawrence was a programmer, hence the man cave, and he earned a decent 5-figure salary. Living in the Midlands meant we could afford a family summer holiday every year. We'd have film nights at home and the odd date night as a couple too. I'd never doubted that he loved me. The "it's over" email, I thought a knee-jerk reaction, so I left him to cool down for a few days. I told the girls that Daddy needed to spend time with his mom for a bit as she was unwell, but after a week it was clear he wasn't coming back. Good lord, man. You had all this like nice life and you just pissed it away. Cause you can't fucking put a fucking lid on it. Or ask for help. Or get help. That's crazy work. And now you're like, that's also a critical time too. If they were what? I don't know. Like, what are the kids? Like 6, 8? Between like the ages of like 6 and 12? That's a really bad time to get a divorce. Not that I condone getting a divorce. I think it should be done as a last resort. But I'm just saying. I feel like it impacts kids way more between a certain ages, like before 18 and like when they're not when they don't understand but they have an attachment. Yeah. Is there a good time for one? Asking for a friend. No, but I'm just saying, I think if you're if you have adult kids, you getting divorced doesn't impact them as much because they're already out of the house. Teenage years? No, I think even teenage years is really, really bad because you're still living with your parents. Marriage counseling. Again, I am just saying I don't condone divorce. I think divorce is bad. I'm just saying that if you really want a fucking divorce, do it either before they're like at a certain point where they don't have like an insane attachment to the parents and they're not growing up living through the divorce and traumatizing your kids in that way. My parents got divorced at 1. I don't remember anything. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can kind of understand it. I mean, it still really, really sucks, but it's bad. But it's not as bad as when you're going through it. But as I was saying, the "it's over" email was, I thought, a knee-jerk reaction. Okay, bitch, you started melting on the floor and said I want to be with someone better, but that's a knee-jerk reaction. I can't. Fast forward 9 months and I was officially a divorcee during the negotiations, egged on by girlfriends who were navigating similar relationship issues. Oh my god. They were all going through the same thing. Oh my gosh. Even my solicitor steered me firmly back on the divorce track whenever I had a wobble. Yes, because the divorce lawyer gets money at the end of the divorce. If you back out, they don't get money, obviously. Oh, I trust you. Yeah. I got everything I'd asked for: custody of the children, the house, the maintenance. Lawrence found a smaller property with enough room for the girls. He had played by doubts on more than one occasion. I tried to call it off, once in a rare face-to-face during child handover. I pleaded for another chance to see a relationship counselor altogether. You could have said something! You could have said something! Anyway, Jesus, this is a lot of fucking blah blah blah. My eldest now, at 14, is very much aware of how I regret that this has happened. So here I am in my late 40s, a divorcee who can't help but look back. I don't know, man. This is fucking cooked. This is cooked AF. Ugh. These people, man.